Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Dorinda, and together with my lovely co-host Amanda Hopper, we recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek, starting with Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped in chronicle following. We will approach each episode with humor and a feminine look. Today's recap is of the episode The Battle. Well, as always, my lovely co-host Amanda Hopper is here again. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I did my paper out this morning in some snow. We got snow. Very messy.
I hope you could do
Like
your... So, today we are going to talk about the battle. And, of course, this is a Ferengi episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Ferengis are back.
I must say it's not one of my favorite episodes, but it was nice to see the Stargazer, Captain Picard's old starship. We start at the beginning, and the Enterprise is rendezvousing with the Ferengi, and it was a really weird meet up because they didn't want to do a treaty, but they had a present for Captain Picard.
Yeah, because Ferengis are not known for like giving things away for free. They're always trying to profit off of something. Like, oh, I'll give you this if you give us so much latinum type deal.
Yeah, and those other Ferengis than Diamond Book, they were very shocked that Book didn't want to have a profit out of it.
Yeah, they were shocked. They're thinking, is he crazy? He's giving this away to Picard for free and not demanding a payment, like a finder's fee for finding it?
We were on the bridge, and Picard has a headache, and for us that would be normal, but for that time it is not common. And he told Dr. Crush that he was feeling odd, and well, you really could see that Picard was irritated, and Beverly had to remind him that she is the only officer on the whole damn ship who can send the captain to sickbay and get a checkup.
That's right. And if anyone else told him that, he'd be looking at him like they were nuts. But Beverly Crusher has higher rank to tell him what to do. To tell him if she tells him to go to sickbay, he has to go to sickbay. He can't complain about it.
No, and that's also because she is the chief medical officer.
Hmm.
Oh, I remember that it's a same kind of situation, well, not totally same, but when, like, almost all the captains we know from Star Trek, and I'm going to refer as an example, like in the original series, Bones always had to get, or like I said, kick Kirk's behind to get him into sickbay and to do a checkup.
Oh yeah.
And
of course,
he's not. Yeah, and he's not the only one because Janeway did it also. You remember that episode with Janeway Voyager, the end game, that she was an old admiral now and she had a mission of her own, and the doctor had to come over to check her willingly.
Well, it's been a while since I've seen Voyager, but I don't remember that episode, but I gotta rewatch the series again. It's been a while since I watched Voyager, so I don't remember a lot of Voyager, so I gotta watch them. Because I know the doctor on that show is basically the hologram doctor, played by Rob Picardo.
They wonderful with the Ferengis, and they are there. They are healing them, but they don't get an answer, and they waited for 3 days. And after that, they answered, but Picard had the feeling that the Ferengi were setting a trap for them. And in this case, they were. Picard is in sickbay, and did you notice that Beverly had a really weird little scanner instead of a tricorder to scan Picard?
If I remember, I think it was like the size of an iPad or something like that, or smaller.
Yeah, very small, like those small phasers. It was some kind of that type.
Oh, okay. Next time I watch the episode again, I have to keep a close look. My eyes don't focus too well on small things. So.
Well, I think that it's just when you watch it a couple of times, and there is another thing later on in the writing room, but I will talk about that when it is at the right moment. Dr. Crusher has no clue why Picard is still having a headache, and there's nothing to see on his scans or whatever, and she gave him a hypo spray to ease the pain, but she told him that it is a medical treachery because the pain is still there. So I was thinking, okay, you do this for a patient, but in kind of way, if you, it's double, because if you look at what the doctor of course do is the healing of patients, but it has a double side. Why would you use this as it is treachery in the way of healing, and in the other way it is healing because the pain, quote, is gone. And then Wesley comes in, and this is the very first thing that Wesley is wearing his acting ensign uniform, the grey sweater with the rainbow thingy.
Oh, yes, that one. Yeah, the gray outfit with the little rainbow.
But the weird thing is, in a later conversation with Picard, or when Wesley mentioned, okay, Captain or Riker, you're gonna get a intruder alert alarm, and Picard was asking him, okay, answer the question of the first officer, and he called Wesley an ensign instead of acting ensign or just Wesley, what he normally does.
Huh. Like I was watching, I didn't even catch on that he did that. Oh.
Well, I don't know, maybe that mind controlling thingy of Diamond Buck has something to do with it, I don't know, but, or it is maybe he didn't notice that he, yeah, what do you think?
I'm thinking maybe when they were filming, he might have slipped up the line a little bit and they just didn't notice it. So I would call it continuity error, I would call it.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just also, yeah, I don't know. It's because I was thinking, why is he calling Wesley ensign? Wesley became an ensign when another episode, and then you see him actually in the red uniform and proudly, and then his hair is very makeup with gel, and it's picture perfect. Well, Wesley came to the bridge, then Picard wasn't there yet, and Wesley was saying, well, I was playing with the booster sensor output, and I got a funny reaction, and you will have a intruder alert in a minute. And Riker was looking at him if he was nuts, and he thought Wesley was playing. And then that alarm went off, and Riker asked Wesley, how the hell did you know that?
Because Wasn't Wesley doing something down in engineering, fiddling with something?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so he also figured out that a Constellation class old style starship was heading to them, and Picard asked Wesley an explanation, and Wesley had to answer Riker's question, and so he told them, well, I was playing with the boost of the sensor of the output, and then Data was very intrigued by it, and Data had a really funny reaction. He ended up saying, "Well, we have to talk about that later, young man."
Yeah. He's like, really? The look on his face is like, really? You messed with the sensors? Like, he's basically acting like Wesley's dad, kind of giving him a scolding look.
Yeah, but also that he was intrigued how Wesley could find all this. You also already could see that Picard was acting very strange, and he still got that headache. And now there was a very funny scene. So the Ferengi are being over, and they were a little bit impressed. And then one of the Ferengi saw Data, and he wanted to buy Data. And
Yeah, no.
and Riker was saying, "Oh, you don't want to buy Data. Data is secondhand." And Data was like, "Excuse me, sir, secondhand?" And then the joke was, or well, joke, but also constatation van, okay, he's just saying that because I'm not for sale and I'm an equal officer here on this bridge. But did you notice that Data is looking more than the Data we actually know? It's his eyes were yellow, and
yeah, he doesn't have that odd orange look to his eyes. They're now like a yellow cat eyes almost.
I don't think it was still a little too bright yellow, but also if you notice his skin, it was not that blingy in a way, not that goldish.
Dusty stuff, not gold dust looking.
Yeah. Talking about that, about Data, you have bought his book, what he wrote, fan fiction?
One of my friends sent it to me in the mail.
Oh, that's nice.
It was Roxy.
So how is it? Because I'm also a little bit curious about that.
It is like a really good book. I already read 21 chapters out of it.
So can you tell me a little bit what that book is about?
It's kind of hard to explain, but Brent and it's called fan fiction, a memoir inspired by true events, about this weird lady who has like an obsession with him, and she sends him weird things. And one of them, I'm going to have to put it cleanly, is, let's put it this way, it's a bag with blood with a certain pig part in it, if you catch my drift. And then she starts sending him this other weird stuff. And she's like, "Oh, I've been spying on you, Daddy," and everything. Oh. And she signs the letters as Lau, his daughter, in one of the episodes.
Okay.
And the FBI's called in, the cops are called in, and all this stuff, Paramount Security, and other members of the crew that played him, they have bits in the story too. So yeah, it's a really good book, and I think it's like 24 or 25 chapters.
Okay.
And there's how many pages? There are 243 pages.
Okay.
It's a really good book. And on the back of the jacket, it says for the U.S. price, $27.99. Canadian price, $37.99.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a really good book.
Yeah, I was thinking also to buy that one. So, but it is funny that he come with a book like that.
And this one's the signed edition. I don't know if you've seen the word signed edition on the cover because it's a signed one.
Okay, nice. So if we're going back to the episode,
Yeah.
did you also notice how ugly the Ferengis are? Those teeth and those ears. Well, in Deep Space Nine they are better than here. I was cringing myself of, oh my god, they are so ugly.
Yeah,
And
the teeth, like, they're pointy, but they're all bent in every direction. And the ears are basically big like radar dishes. So they probably have like a good sense of hearing.
well, that's what I saw that in one of the interviews of documentaries. I thought it was Aaron Zimmerman who played Quark. He said I had played a few episodes in TNG, but that wasn't the
Quark.
that wasn't the Ferengi wasn't that good of being written, and he wanted to do the species justice, so that's why he took up on the character of Quark.
Like in future episodes, when you see the Ferengis more and more, they start looking a lot less weirder. They start looking a little bit better with the makeup in the future episodes.
Yeah, it does. But in one way, I can understand them as well, because the Ferengis that we see in TNG are. It's just, you could see it was just a beginning of a species that the humans started to know. And in Deep Space Nine, they're already so much involved that they're completely different in a way.
Yeah. The teeth are a lot more straighter, and the ears are still big, but still look nicer.
You know what also was strange? That the Ferengi knew about the old ship of Picard, and they were making assumptions that about it. Well, Damon Book did that, and when that happened, Picard was feeling weird, but also Counselor Troy could feel it. So, then they knew and noticed that there was something going on, and the ship was almost at that rendezvous point, and I thought it was about 5,000 miles or whatever. They got to know what ship it was, and that was the Stargazer.
I think they picked it up and they were able to bring it up on screen, even though it was like, I think a few thousand miles away. They were still able to bring it up on screen for Picard to recognize.
You know what was weird too, and I'm thinking that just now, Wesley's father died on the Stargazer. Why doesn't it has an emotional impact to Wesley or Dr. Crusher?
Ah, jeez, that's true. He was on the Stargazer.
Yeah, but that was just weird, because you could see that Beverly was very concerned about Picard, and also that thing, when they beamed over to the Stargazer, Beverly went with them. This must be had an impact to her, because she knew, and I don't know if she has been served on the Stargazer, but we all knew that Jack Crusher, her husband, did. So she must have some feelings with it.
Yeah, she must have some feelings about the ship showing up, but she must have hid their feelings about it. I don't know.
Well, they didn't show it in the episode, because that's why I thinking about it, like it have to be an impact for her, and possibly also for Wesley, because they knew their family member, father and husband, has served on the Stargazer and never came back.
That is correct. Jack died while in service to the Stargazer with Captain Picard.
And you could
And,
also,
especially when,
go ahead.
especially when Wesley was very young too. He was at the time. I think he was like a toddler or something.
Yeah, and well, you could also see that something was wrong with the motives of the Ferengi. They were acting strange and weird and not Ferengi-like.
They were just willing to. Well, one of them was just willing to give the ship up without asking for money. He's like, "The gift, it is for you, Picard," is what he basically said, I guess.
Yeah,
and the other two were like, "What the hell, dude? You giving away a ship without asking for money?"
Yep, exactly. Picard remembers a memory of smelling something burning, and I thought this was still the scene in sick bay, if I'm correct. But then they are going to the wedding room for a staff meeting, and Picard explains what happened on the Stargazer. And this is where I was the next thing I was thinking. I have watched that scene for a couple of times, and Picard was holding a pen in his hand. And that is something they don't use in that time. So, what the hell is a pen doing at that moment? So, Picard was explaining, and of course, Riker was remembered about the Picard maneuver. And then, out of the blue, Picard was asking of calling for someone who called Vigo. And it was just like Picard was at that moment on the Stargazer.
Yeah, they went over to the Stargazer and they went to his quarters, I think it was. They went to his quarters, and there was like a trunk there with all his stuff in there. But what they didn't see right away was like this big glowing sphere inside hidden underneath all that stuff.
When they beamed over, Picard became a little sentimental. You could see that it was hitting him hard. So he went to his old wedding room and to look through his stuff. But there was also that mind ball of Damon Buck. And Damon Buck could control Picard's mind with it.
Damon Buck put that one into his trunk, and Damon Buck had one on their ship. So he was manipulating it to give him like a small headache, and then he jacked her right up and gave him I guess you can call it the super mega migraine headache.
Yeah, exactly. So, and luckily, Beverly was there as well. So she said, "Well, Captain, we're going back to the sickbay because this isn't good." And Picard wanted to protest it, and she said, "Well, I will bring your stuff over, so don't worry." So there were some weird things going on. And I believe, when they were on the Enterprise, they found out that the Ferengi, in this way, Damon Buck, has tempted with the evidence. So the recording of Picard about this whole incident and that they had to flee the Stargazer was fake.
Yep. The recording that Picard originally made, Damon Bach took that recording and manipulated Picard's words in a certain way that made it sound like Picard said one thing when obviously he didn't say the thing, and Damon Bach messed with the recording to fudge up what he said.
So Crusher thinks it has to do something with the Stargazer, but because this all began when the Stargazer came inside, and Beverly makes Picard sleep, and Picard has nightmares. And it was Damon Buck who was doing this because he was controlling Picard's mind with that mind ball, or mind sphere, how he called it. So Riker, Data, and the Force found out that the computer of the log entries of Picard were fake. Crusher and Diana Troy were in the sick bay when, of course, Wesley came over. And of course Wesley is the clever boy again, and he figured out what the problem was. Wesley told them about a low frequency as well on the Stargazer, but also from the ship. And he could tell that because once again he was playing with something in the engineering. And he told his mom and Diana Troy about this low frequency, and he thinks it has to do with the Stargazer and Captain Picard's headaches. First, Troy said, well, let's go to the captain and tell him that. But Beverly said, well, we can't do that because Picard is acting weird, and I don't think we need to tell him. We have to tell Riker. So Diana and Troy and Dr. Crusher went to Riker on the bridge, and as soon as they are out of earshot, Wesley said, well, you're welcome, ladies. Poof, adults.
Yeah. Like, he gave them all this information, they didn't say thank you, they just took off towards the main deck there to tell Riker all this info. And he's like, oh, well, thank you, ladies, for not thanking me.
Yeah, and it was more, it wasn't sarcastic or whatever. It was more like, okay, ladies, I help you. I know I'm still a nobody on this ship, but you're welcome.
Yeah. Poor kid.
So Troy and Chris should tell Riker what they have learned from Wesley, and Riker asked the computer to locate Captain Picard, and the computer answered, well, Picard is at the transporter room 3. The next moment, Riker asks again, where is Picard? The computer tells him that Picard is no longer on board. So that was the point hell broke loose, I guess. So
yeah, he went from being on the Enterprise to the Stargazer.
Yeah. And you could see that Picard was hallucinating, giving those images back what Diamond Book was sending him. And we haven't talked about this yet, but why does Diamond Book does this? This was just a personal revenge on Picard.
Yeah, because he blames Picard for the death of, if I'm correct, his son?
Yes, correct.
In the battle? Yeah. And he wants to get revenge on Picard by, I guess, messing with him and screwing with his brain and making him think he's on the Stargazer again. And he's in a battle.
And, well, the crew finds out what the mind sphere is, and they try to contact Picard about, dude, you are being mind controlled by the Ferengi, so you need to find this and this, and you have to destroy it.
Yeah, and they're trying to get a hold of him, but he's just ignoring them because he's underneath Damon Bach's memory meld thingy with that glowing sphere thingy that gives headaches and causes hallucinations. And they're
Yeah,
having a hard time getting a hold of him because of it.
and then do you also remember that Riker had a few very heart-to-heart conversations with the first officer of Diamond Buck. And at this point, the first officer is telling Riker, well, Diamond Buck is not in control anymore of the ship. I have taken over.
Yeah, they basically found out what he was doing and said, oh, heck no, we didn't sign up for this. And they took power away from him and basically, I guess they locked him in the brig or something like that so he doesn't cause any more mayhem.
Yeah, and because Damon Buck did something out of revenge and he didn't get platinum for it or whatever, they got him into the brig.
Plus, that thing he was using was also, I think, an illegal object too, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. So, I think he would be punished by the Ferengis as well.
Oh, he probably will be punished for what he did. They didn't. I think they said they would, but we don't know what they would do to him.
Yeah, I think we don't know that much about the laws of the Ferengi at that point.
Yeah, that's true, but they do have the rules of acquisition and all that stuff.
Yep. But we only get more acquainted with it, I guess, very late in TNG or even just in Deep Space Nine with Quark and his background.
Yeah, especially in DS9 with Quark, you find out more about the rules and stuff about rules of I can't say the word right. Accusations?
Acquisition.
Yeah, that's it. I can't say it right.
Well,
basically the Ferengi rules of what they do.
Well, normally I am not fond of Ferengis, but I must say I do like the family Ferengi on Deep Space Nine with Quark and Lita. And, well, I don't like Lita, but I do love Rom and Nog. And
poor Nog, the guy that played him.
Yeah, but also when you see more Deep Space Nine episode, there will be more background stories about the Ferengi, and we even go to Ferengi now to visit Mookie, the mother of Quark and Nog. So I really like those episodes, and
Mookie.
Yeah, it was really nice to see more.
And the Grand Nagus.
Yeah, and the funniest part is that the geeky brother and Ferengi of Quark, Rom, becomes Grand Nagus.
I'm Nagus? Yeah. And then there's hits put out on the poor guy too because he was the Nagus.
Yeah, and that was funny because Quark thought he will become the Grand Nagus.
Nope, it was Rom.
Okay, is there something we forgot in this episode?
Well, it did get Picard back out of his mind meld because Picard had to shoot the ball, so he did that.
Jeez, this is not the first time that this happened to him, you know. We're now at the 8th episode, and this is the second time that he is going to be weird and beam off to somewhere where he's not actually there. Like, the first time was with the entity, remember?
Yeah, he was basically floating around in the clouds with a bunch of atoms.
Yeah, and now this time to the Stargazer.
Yeah, where the Ferengi messed with his brain. Or Damon Bach, the Ferengi, messed with his brain.
Yeah, but the weird thing also is, and I thought that also about it. We knew that the Stargazer have been explode, and how can it be that the Stargazer is back again? Or Diamond Book had made a replica of it.
It exploded. Oh, huh. Yeah, maybe if it exploded, then maybe Damon Bach did do a replica.
Yeah, that was the episode. What is your general opinion about it?
Oh, it's unusual. The Ferengis, they're starting to look a little bit better in makeup wise. The ears are going to stay the same. I'm sure they're going to stay the same in the big radar dish size. And we know the teeth will start getting different throughout the seasons. Other than that, it was an interesting episode.
Yeah, it was really, but also in one way I did like the storyline of this episode because it's really a story what they told, but I must say it's not my favorite.
Not really my favorite either. It was kind of slow too at some points.
Yeah, and when they came on Stargazer, then everything went in a quick train to the whole end of the episode. Because I remember in this particular episode, I paused the episode a lot to rephrase things, watch it again, etc. And I remember after that, beaming over to the Stargazer, it became really fast in the storyline as well. So let's rate this episode. My rating is about a 7.5.
Yeah, I'd say around that too. 7.5. I'll go with what you say. Because yeah, it had its slow points, it had its interesting points. It just so far of all the episodes, this one wasn't really the greatest. Well, it had a good storyline. It was just slow.
But I think also that this is one of the next episode that you could find out a little bit more about the Ferengi. And okay, the Ferengi is not my favorite species, but Ferengi is very new in TNG. A new species.
They've only been in 2 episodes.
And so it is nice to have a little bit more insight of the Ferengi. And of course, later on, we see more of the Ferengi, but it is nice to have a little bit more background information about that species. And that's what's one thing I also like is in future episodes, we will see more about Worf's background, and Worf get a little bit more storyline in it, and what it is to be Klingon, and what are the tradition of Klingon. Oh, I didn't know if you see it, but my hubby is thinking of teaching himself Klingon so he can scroll people out at his job in Klingon.
Yeah, I saw that.
He is totally nuts. And he says, well, sometimes they deserve it, and I don't want them to know what I say, so I talk Klingon to them.
Well, it'd be nice to learn Klingon so we can swear in Klingon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he said to my dad.
Yeah, so I think and I felt, and that's last week I read an article that one of the writers was clashing with Patrick Stewart because Stewart didn't like the storyline. So they fought a lot about it, and now he's doing that with Star Trek Picard as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was getting into fights about episodes.
Yeah, and you know, we know Picard as a Shakespearean and theater person, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's why he is talking so loud of, okay guys, if it isn't a good script, screw it, then I won't do it. And when he has righted that, because I remember that when he started on Star Trek Picard, there was a lot of rewriting, and that was also thanks to him. But he said too, I'm not going to give my approval to this if it isn't better. And
Oh.
you see what happened.
If he doesn't like it, he don't like it. He makes you rewrite it, apparently.
Well, I do think he has a large weight on it because he is Patrick Stewart. He was the one who already played TNG and Ken Picard, and but I
think
think
he's also, isn't he also one of the producers on Picard?
yeah, but
Yeah, that's probably why.
What I also try to say is that I do think he sees the bigger picture, and that's why he wants to make it better as well. But okay, I think we have everything right.
Yep.
So, thank you again, Amanda. It was nice talking to you again.
Same here.
Next episode, for all you Q lovers, it's a Q episode.
Yeah, I love Q.
Height and Q.
John Delancey as Q makes another comeback.
Oh yeah, I'm very looking forward to it.
He's going to be in season 2 of Picard too.
Yeah, that's what I meant, and I have seen the trailers about it, and it looks really, really good.
From one of the trailers I've seen so far, yeah, it looks really good. To go back to, like, I forget what year it is in Los Angeles they go back to. Raffi and I think it's 7 of 9 drive a police car.
Yeah, that was also cool.
I know.
But yeah, what you also could see, they are going to time travel, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just anxious to see what they are doing with it.
Yeah, and see how much shenanigans Q's caused.
Oh God, you know, I really, really think he's going to change Picard back in as a human and not as a synth.
You never know. That man could probably do something like that.
But you know,
put it past him.
I think it's strange that Picard is a synth now.
Yeah, this different. He's basically almost like an android body almost.
Yeah, but also, I mean, yeah, it's just weird because Picard was already that old, and then when he died, you would not expect that his conscience would be put over into a synth body. It is just weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
It's like Picard is now a Commander Data, but so much better.
Yeah, kind of like Data, minus the yellow eyes and the gold skin. Yes, live long and prosper. And don't forget, you guys, if you go out into the bookstores, get Brent Spiner's book. It's really good so far. I got about 4 or 5 chapters left. It's a really good book.
Well, if you like, we can do a podcast episode about that too, if you like.
Yeah, and ask him to be part of it.
I don't know if we can get him for it, but okay.
Huh? We could try. It'd be worth a shot. We don't know when we'd be doing this. It'd be still cool, though, to try.
He is still cool. You know, last weekend I saw the Independence Day second movie, and it was so it was so cool to see him again.
I know.
He's a great actor.
Oh yeah, he definitely is.
Well, guys, I wish you live long and prosper, and I will see you in about 2 weeks. And for the last notice, that is the last episode for this season and this year. After that, we will start again in the new year. This is really, really awesome.
Yeah, it is. 2022 will be coming up. Holy crap, in less than 30 days. Tomorrow's December 1st. That's 24 days to Christmas. I'm still working on stuff.
We will see you then in 2 weeks for a new recap. And live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, guys.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode Hide and Q. Girls Talking Track is also to listen, follow and subscribe on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. If you'd like to comment on this episode or talk with us about the Stargazer episode we just recapped, you can reach out on the Facebook group and the YouTube channel of Girls Talking Track. We will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.